to me about.
I don't know if it happens between like the difference from how we make certain products, like is like water, distilled water, and certain beverages that foreign people like have a different custom with their body systems. I guess.
Yeah.
I think it can happen in any country. You know, you're accustomed to a certain way of living upon the physical realm.
Maybe it's a revenge for what Columbus, all the diseases Columbus brought.
I know, man. It's
You're
kind of a Mayan curse.
Fucked us. You're like, you fucked us, so you fucked us for 30 years, so we're gonna fuck you for 1,000. Like,
dude, actually, that's funny because I saw a Mexican movie, a horror Mexican movie yesterday.
Yeah, what's
called? The Curse of the Mayans. Man, it's something.
Okay, cool.
It's about the whole folklore of the Popol Vuh.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like the Mayan Bible, something like that.
Okay.
And it talks about reptilian entities. It's weird, man. It's crazy.
I'm just pitting a new question so anyone who pops in can see what we're talking about. Because sometimes people go live all the time, and I'll pop in, and they'll just be there silent, and I'll be like, okay, if you're waiting for a bunch of people to build up, that's cool, but I don't want to spend a minute of my time listening to silence. Yeah. I'd rather you just start ranting. I don't know. So I just found out you can pin these comments so people know what we're talking about.
That's awesome, man. Actually, I'm starting a podcast with a friend from Spain, and I already did the web page and everything. If you want to check it out, the link is in the bio.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to try to put out stuff from the right hand path that I was working with. I was doing...
Send me an image and I'll post it on my Esoteric Ebooks business page, the public page that has
oh, hell yeah, man.
6,000 people.
I will
send shadow banned, so it can't get more than... I can't reach 7,000, but it does have 6,000.
It doesn't matter, man. I think I want to try to give a better image to the left hand path, Because
let's talk more about that.
What?
I think a lot of people do in the right-hand path. Yeah. They find a failure for the path to allow them to explore the shadowy stuff and the evil within us all. So because you have to, it's sometimes hard to get into the light if you don't even have the tools to even cope with some basic darkness. And that's probably a failing of the systems that need to be updated in certain ways. Oh, there's a really cool snail or caterpillar right here. You want to see it? Look at that.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
I've never seen one like that. Yeah, we have very different sort of animals in Canada, so it's been cool being here in California and seeing all the different shit. Though, of course, I'm terrified to get, stung by a black widow or something like that. Yeah. The other day I went into the bathroom. You're gonna hate this story. You're gonna hate it. And I lifted the toilet seat to take a piss.
Yeah.
Pulled out my dick, and a big black spider fell onto my penis.
Holy shit, dude.
Either from my head or my shirt or the ceiling, I don't know. I flicked it into the toilet. Yeah. It was huge. I took a photo of it and filmed it as it went down the drain because I was like, I want to find out how close I came from losing my dick.
Shit. That's actually a kind of a fear of mine, like going into the bathroom and, a fucking rat or something from the toilet grabs your shit. Damn. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So yeah, with the left-hand path, I think often things I get along a lot better with a lot of Satanists and OTO people, or not that they're left-hand path, but whatever, than I often do with most Christians, which is silly. But it's because, there is this thing in light workers, as they like to say, often with an inability to look at the whole human being and a fear of the dark side. Right? We live in a culture now where you could be like, oh man, I just want to fucking go around and shoot everyone. And people are like, and so they don't, rather than talk to you about that feeling that's passing through you, they call the cops on you. Right? Or you're like, oh man, I feel it's been such a brutal day. People suffer in this world. People feel like dying sometimes. If you don't, I like that comedian said, he's like, people talk about how, you know, I can't understand how anyone would ever want to kill themselves. And this community was like, you can't? Have you not seen the world? Have you not lived in the world? Like, you can't understand that feeling? Like, that feeling, if you haven't had that feeling, you probably haven't gotten out too much, or you're not really sensing what's going on. So we got to be able to talk about the dark feelings we have without, you know, having people trying to confuse them with threats or desires to act. Having a feeling is not the same thing as having a desire to act.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Completely different thing, man. I could never hurt a fucking fly. I've had a chance to hurt flies or hurt things, but I can't actually do it. I might be a better person if I was able to walk up to someone and throw a punch when necessary, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I fucking know the feeling. Of course I know the fucking feeling.
And for me, what the left-hand path has been teaching me, I guess, is that there's evil in this world, man, and it's beyond like angels or demons. I was assaulted actually in the place that Aleister Crowley was in. I was assaulted very badly, man. I couldn't have been murdered in that. It was the worst case scenario, man. It was in the middle of nowhere. I was with a girl. These fucking assholes just jump up. It was bad.
Oh, I believe you.
And the left-hand path, I called to, the master of the left-hand path. And dude, it helped me. I mean, something happened when I was rolling down, almost fell down into this cliff. And something spooked this fucking guy. And he all of a sudden was like, lo siento, no queríamos hacer esto, solo queríamos para las cervezas. And they give back my wallet, man, and they fucking run away. I don't know exactly what, but it was something, man. Something came to me and helped me.
Wow. So you should be dead.
I should be dead, man. Either by my hand or by these fucking guys.
Yeah. You know, it just occurred to me, maybe one way of looking at it is the right-hand path follows the light to understand the darkness, and the left-hand path, follows the darkness to understand light. I don't want to be trite or sound simplistic, but and now that I say that, actually, part of me is thinking that maybe what we need to get rid of is the idea of the right and the left-hand path altogether. I mean, the idea that we're meant to go up one pillar or the other pillar is complete bullshit anyway. Or the idea that we're meant to go up one tree and down the other tree is absurd. The middle pillar runs through both trees, and that's the pillar of consciousness. If you get lost in force and form, and on either side, you're fucked. You're fucked. Those are the paths of power, and you can't get power through you can't get power through the pursuit of power. You can only get power through the raising of your consciousness.
Yeah, totally.
By being able to go up and down the tree, like up the serpent path of wisdom, down the lightning flash, over and over, really fast, solve et coagula, right? Until that light is shooting up and down you so fast it becomes electric in the most powerful sense of it. Did someone just screenshot me? I think someone just screenshot me.
Dude, it was also, it's funny how you put it in this way, because one of my best friends he was the one who in 2015 really got me into magic. But, and he was more obviously ceremonial, Golden Dawn and all this stuff. And I just fell in love with it, but he tried the left-hand path. I'm a left-hand path, yeah. And then we had a couple of issues. I kind of stay away from him, and then he tried to reach me back, but he was like, dude, I kind of fucked up with the left-hand path shit, so I'm not trying to be a right-hand path. So, it's like, I guess I know what he's trying to do, like, to be better, but like you said, like putting labels, it creates this kind of stuff, like.
Yeah, this dualism that the whole point of this work is to escape dualism and become one with our higher wills. Like, so Yeah, maybe we just need to throw these terms out. Like, fucking throw them away.
Yeah.
Because experienced musicians don't actually talk about black and white magic, like, ever, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's something that we as magicians, man, as adepts, we can try to modernize these terms that has divided the occult and esoteric communities. And we're like, dude, right now we're all
magic was trying to do.
Yeah. And right now it's like we are experiencing the same thing, you know. It's like it doesn't matter who you are or what you are or whatever, you know. We are getting stuck in our houses with all this pandemic and economic bullshit that is coming. It's hard, man. It's weird. So I think it's time to travel this bullshit and you know, it's I don't think any path is better than the other. It's a different path, you know.
No, there's no soul's more better than another soul.
Hell yeah.
That's I think also I think people have been hurt a lot, especially by people who are so-called good people.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the fundamentalists of any religion. And that's where I think a lot of times the left-hand path and the self-empowerment sort of Satanism and Lex Talona, the law of the claw, and just that my will makes right. I mean, that he's appealing to people who've been hurt and been victimized and been powerless. So that makes sense to me, as opposed to like the last thing you should say to someone who's been treated a certain way by the world or by life. The last thing you should say to them is, you should turn the other cheek or lay down your life for another. It's like they've already had their life ripped apart and taken away, survivors of all kinds of different abuses. The last thing they should be told is, oh, stuff appeals to people. But again, I do think it's a misrepresentation of the magical path, like we were saying before, with the pillars and the middle pillar being the path, right? It's not right or left. It's not the tree of life or the tree of shadows. It's both. We need to experience all of it. Yeah.
And actually, it's funny, how Christians think, and that's what I have against the whole system of Christianity. It's like they want to.
Well, there isn't one system of Christianity, right? There's just as many versions of Christianity as there are flavors of ice cream.
I'm referring to like the whole church system, like pastors telling you how things should be according to their perspective from the Bible.
Sure, but did you know that there's since for the last 100 years there's actually been like Christian priests in churches who are Golden Dawn adepts?
Oh, dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Like I'm one of them. Like I'm a seminary trained Episcopal priest.
Whoa. I haven't heard about that.
There's a bunch of other ones too, man. Dude, the Golden Dawn was founded by a bunch of the people in the original Golden Dawn were reverends in the Church of England, which is an Anglo-Catholic church. Fuller wrote his PhD dissertation on Anglo-Catholic clergy magicians.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really cool. Tony Fuller? Yeah. Hello.
Oh, that's
Kong Som Pax Akuchim.
Well, yeah, man, it's like, I don't know, the Christianity that tells you that anything esoteric is evil, that's what, it's like, man, the Bible...
Anyone who says that just doesn't know their shit. Like Meditations on the Tarot by the anthroposophist Valentin Tomberg, it has its afterwards written by Cardinal Hans Urs von Balthasar, who is a cardinal of the Catholic Church. I mean, the Catholics are, and lots of versions of Christianity are very familiar with the powers of the teachings of night, the esoteric teachings as opposed to the exoteric teachings. The problem is, like with any human community, you get a bunch of people together, there's a ton of wankers who want power, and then they are the ones who we end up dominating, right? It's like on social media, like, you look at comments on YouTube, it's mostly a bunch of fuckers. And I don't comment on YouTube just because I know there'll be like zero intelligent responses and a bunch of weirdos saying a bunch of anonymous bullshit.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, it's weird. That's why I don't want to get involved in the YouTube community, because it's like, you know what happens to EA Coeding, you know?
Oh yeah.
He's a meme now, even though his stuff is kind of cringy in some way, but there are some noses in his stuff, you know. But the fact that how he portrays himself, he's now a fucking meme, an occult meme. It's weird.
Who is this?
The guy who has this movement called Becoming a Living God.
Oh, weird. Weird.
Yeah, you should check it out, man. It's weird. His stuff it's about the left hand path, but it's kind of the path that I'm pursuing, you know, like self betterment in all aspects of myself, you know.
So then, how if we were looking at the artificial dichotomy of right and left hand paths, what is it that in your mind defines the left hand path as different to the right?
I guess we'll separate yourself from. I was talking with a friend actually about this, like with the hive mind of Keter, you put yourself in a different in your own tree, I guess, you know. That's how I understand it. I get in my way, like you put yourself out of the whole separate system. And I guess you can create your own system.
It's like creating your own sort of psychocosm, as chaos magic would say. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I learned from like Peter Carroll and the chaos magic. Like you can create your own system, you know, like a fucking wave or something like that.
You absolutely can. You absolutely can.
And it's like I guess which magician was Andrew Bithymus. He said, I mean, you can use Harry Potter spells if you want to, you know, and it will work. Human mind is just the human mind, or lack of human imagination is the limitation.
It sounds like something Grant Morrison would say.
Yeah, I'm a big fan also from great Grant Morrison.
Yeah, I invited him to the Hermeticism conference we were scheduled to do here at this retreat center, this ISIS Oasis retreat center here in November. But unfortunately, that's been canceled, of course, because, you know, there's this thing going on in the world.
Yeah.
So I still have my conference lined up for next year on the Celtic Mysteries, but the Hermeticism one is DOA, baby, and then 2022 gonna do one in Prague at John D. and Edward Kelly's tower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's already been cleared with the people in Prague. I was there lecturing in Prague at the Kelly's tower last year.
Whoa.
It was an amazing experience.
Damn, it sounds, man, like a lot of knowledge was revealed into that.
Yeah. Also, in their tower, they have they've replicated everything that was found there, as closely as to how it was, and they have a little patch of earth that was a mushroom garden. And I'm like, why is there just mushrooms there? Why is there a mushroom garden? They're like, oh, because sometimes they would need food, but the servants couldn't get there fast enough, so they'd have mushrooms as a snack. I'm like, that's bullshit. They were doing psychedelics, and the tour guide was like, no, that wouldn't make any sense, because they were trying to turn lead into gold. They weren't trying to explore psychedelic spirituality. I'm like, are you listening to yourself? It's like because we know that they faked. The one time they said they made gold, they said it exploded, and they showed a shattered vessel there, a recreation of what it was with little bits of gold, and apparently Emperor Rudolph came and saw, oh, look, they did make gold, so I should keep funding them because they know how to do it. They just got to perfect the technique. But they just said that, and the tour guide even said, that was faked. They know that was faked. And I'm like, of course they faked that stuff. They were just getting funding so they could keep sitting in the tower eating mushrooms and doing Enochian magic.
Damn. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing you can only learn by going someplace, paying close attention, and having enough basic knowledge and common sense to do original research on the ground. And the first time I went to Kelly's Tower in 2007, I didn't notice any of that shit. I thought the tour was complete a waste of time, and I couldn't go. He wasn't allowed up to the top peak of the tower where the windows are, where they do the rituals. But this time the door was open. The trap door in the final top spiral staircase was open. And I said to the guide, "Hey, that's open. Can I go up there?" Like, no, technically not, but it's open, so I'm not going to stop you. And I ran up the tower, and I did the Enochian call of the portal for the angels, and I filmed it, and I put it on YouTube even. I know, I've never done something like that before. I'm not into filming magic, but I think some people need to see a few things just so they can maybe help people avoid wasting years following bullshit techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mushrooms, someone says, Dark Angel 777 says, so mushrooms key to Enochian magic. God, no, I think Dark Angel, that is actually like, no one has talked about them using psychedelics in any book as far as I've ever read. Not Lou's new book, not anything. So it's like, and it makes perfect fucking sense.
Actually, I love to use cannabis in every ritual that I do, man. It put me in the thoughtful state, like, you know?
See, I get that. I do get it. I was talking about this the other day, having used cannabis in conjunction with some Rising on the Plains work, which is GD technique. But I'm generally opposed to integrating drugs with magic, and a lot of my friends, that's just because I think we should do both. Actually, I think you should master it one way, then master it the other way. Do one pillar, then the other pillar, force and form, and then rise up the center.
Oh, man, I love how you put it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Man, it's great talking to you. That was crazy to see those things there in Dee and Kelly's Tower. And anyway, here's the thing: if you look on YouTube at me performing, so just go on YouTube, Frater RC, blah blah blah. You look at me performing in Kelly's Tower, the Call of Pearl, circling around. You can see out these open air windows at the top of the tower, all of Prague, because it's on the top hill of Prague, right near the cathedral. And I stumbled over the Enochian words. I've never stumbled over Enochian words before, because I don't do Enochian until I know it well enough that I don't, make a mistake. And there's differences in pronunciation, which is fine. But I fumbled the words, and it was because halfway through this short call of the portal, old Sunuf, the presence, like I've never felt it. Like didn't feel like just one of the angels was there. It felt like every single angel was there, and the voice just hit me in the back of the head. It said, "You don't need that here. We're here. What do you want?"
Whoa.
And it felt so palpably physical. I've never felt a physical presence of beings that strong outside of a magically set up area ever in my life. And they were with me the next few days as I was doing everything. And there was energies that tried to thwart my lectures at Kelly's Tower, actually. There were some guys who set up computers and started talking really loud in the lecture room I was in. And I asked them to stop because, the staff weren't going to stop them, which was a little weird because I had arranged this all in advance. And I'm like, people can't hear over the live stream while you're talking. Can you maybe go in the other room or just not do this? Wait till I'm done. They're like, no, man, we're not going to do that. I'm like, I went outside, took a break, and had a smoke. And then I came back and I said, and they came out and I said, how about I pay you $100, which in Prague is a lot of money. To just let me finish my lectures. And they're like, no. So I got pissed. I went outside and I sent out a message to most of the adepts I know from several systems, especially my own, that I was trained in. And I said, I need this technique. I need us to do this exact technique to fix this right now. And a couple of them did respond. I did too. We all did it. I went back inside, and these guys who had refused to stop, who turned down $100, I went back inside, sat down, and they spontaneously just picked up their bags, packed up their 2 laptops that were plugged into the walls, and left.
Whoa, man.
Whoa.
That's amazing.
Right? And I reached out to the other adepts internationally that I knew and who were maybe paying attention, because I said, I don't know. I said to the angels of the tower, I don't know what to do. And they said, ask for help.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been trying to do, man. There's something within the practices it's been pulling me to connect with other adepts, from different systems. Like, I don't know if you have felt.
I'm all about building bridges. I think that's the way forward. I don't think we're going to unite and form like a unified system at all. But I think we need to learn to be in dialogue with each other. How can we save the planet, let alone ourselves, if we can't even exemplify healthy dialogue with other people in our community? Right. That is the number one thing we need in this world: the ability to talk with people who are different than us. And if we don't have that ability, if we don't engage in that, hey Arissa, it's Granny Rainbow again. You showed up last time I was doing a live stream. Say hi to Granny Rainbow.
Hey Granny.
So Arissa is a carrier of Paul Foster Case's tradition and was taught by his protege, Jason Lauderhand.
Whoa.
And she has lots of books out, including High Magic, How to Turn Your Lead into Gold, which I read an hour of on my podcast a little while ago.
Well,
and you've got a new book coming up called Tarot for Self-Realization.
Yes.
Any advice to this magician in Mexico?
Do what you love.
Did you hear that?
Oh man.
Did you hear what she said? She said, do what you love. See, now that is someone who's been doing this work for how long? You've been doing it for what, 5-10 years?
More 5-10 lifetimes.
So we're discussing the difference between the right and the left-hand path, and your answer to that was do what you love. The angels on one side, demons on the other, just follow your heart. I love it. That's what a true adept sounds like.
So you can't help it.
You're brilliant.
Oh man, really, I love your grammar, man.
Thanks for chiming in, beautiful.
That's amazing.
Rissa. Yeah.
I really felt that. Fuck, that's what
I have links to her books on the podcast. And if you use the links, that means that she actually gets a few bucks from it. So that's good.
Oh man, totally. And I want to try to help each other, man. Like promote each other's stuff because I mean, you know, we all were feeling the whole financial dread that it's coming, man. And I think we all should like support each other, you know, especially in this very tough time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, as soon as she walked away, that guy over there started insulting me to her because that's the kind of people there are out there. People who just are full of hate. She's a wonderful lady, but there's people around here that they don't have anything going on in their own lives, so they just judge others.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing, man. Seriously. I wish people express themselves as much when they love as when they hate, because you know most of the messages I get are messages of hate, and I know there's a lot of love out there, but when we love something, we're less vocal. We just feel it. We just love it. We just love each other. We love the truth and connection and stuff. But then something about hatred that just makes people more vocal and feel like doing harm, and that's something that you know I think a lot of people think is promoted by the left-hand path.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is, though.
I think the thing that it happens with the left-hand path is it lets you decide whatever you're going to do, but take full responsibility of your actions, you know? Like, for instance, I fucked the dudes that almost killed me. I did fuck them, man, and yeah. And I don't have any regrets because that's shitty people, man. I mean, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I don't have any regrets for those kind of people, man. It's because, man, dude, they could have been rape and kidnap the girl that I was with. I mean, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I mean, that's sort of what when shit like that goes down, especially unfortunately in a country like yours, that is a very real possibility, isn't it? Like if people start walking after you down an alley in Mexico, it's probably not that they're just coincidentally going the same way, is it?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
And it was, to be honest, the first time that I went through something like that. No, I was being lucky of not having many assaults upon this time, you know. And
well, that is very lucky.
yeah.
So I'm just fixing my little chair here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I guess, you know, and I get it. I get like the whole hate about the left path, because I know it. I also love to listen to metal, and I know a lot of people like wear the Baphomet shirts and the pentagrams and Satan. You know, it's cringy.
Well, that's metal culture.
Yeah.
You know, like if Christianity becomes more marginalized and not popular, they'll probably be posting pictures of like the infant baby of Prague. Be like, hardcore infant baby, he'll heal you. You know, it's whatever's taboo.
Yeah.
When I was little, my parents, one of the reasons I never did any smoking, drinking, or drugs my entire childhood, not until well into my 20s, because when I would talk to my parents about it, or especially my mom, she'd be like, "You can do that if you like. It's a path to explore. It's a valid thing." And I'm like, "What? But you don't drink or smoke or do anything." She's like, "Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not what you're meant to do." And I was like, and so I had no interest in it. I ended up just focusing on studying magic and playing Dungeons and Dragons. And doing a lot of theater. I did a lot of theater. I think theater's really helpful and healthy. Ritual is really informed by practicing theater and drama.
Ritual is like very theatrical, like, no? It's like
it is psychodrama. Like, that is what ritual is. It's psychodrama. It's intentionally doing the theater for the purpose of transforming yourself and those around you. Yeah.
And a lot of people like get weirded out about it because they don't like understand artistry, I guess, you know, like doing like the lesser banishment ritual, you know, the whole.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And like especially the Hermetic system is all about sound and color.
Yeah.
Sound and color. You know that phrase in the Neophyte Initiation of the Golden Dawn, by names and images are all powers awakened and reawakened.
Well,
it's one of the best lines.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Along with like, I am the only being in an abyss of darkness. From an abyss of darkness came I forth ere my burst. From the silence of a primal sleep and the voice of ages said unto my soul. You know, yeah, I sort of botched it up, but that's basically it.
Oh man, you put it all beautiful, man. Like, fuck. It's really a blessing, like talking to you, man. It's amazing.
We'll have to do it again.
Oh man, let's do it. Let's schedule a podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
A specific theme, or you know.
Yeah, let's do it. Maybe toward the end of the week or this weekend.
Oh fuck yeah, man! I'm totally in.
Yeah, I don't know who David Goddard is. Who's David Goddard again? Remind me, Tyler.
Yeah, I haven't heard about it.
Goddard.
I think he's.
It rings a bell. What's ringing a bell?
Let's Google for it.
Can you Google him?
Yeah.
Maybe Tyler's not on right now. Oh, I think I looked at that book back in the 90s. Yeah, I think Tower of Alchemy rings a bell. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, he's a plant physiologist.
Interesting. That's right. It's coming back to me now. That's right. I haven't looked at that book since probably 95, 94. So raise a point, Hermit's Corner, Frater P.
Yeah.
Frater Parnassus.
Oh man, I was gonna
He's on my Patreon study group for magic.
Oh, okay.
He's also a used occult book reseller of antique, good quality, early editions of quality books. So go buy books from the Hermit's Corner 770.
I will, man. Hell yeah. Oh man, what are your thoughts about the whole mythology behind Gnosticism? You know, with the demiurge and all this stuff, the prison planet.
I think we need to stop using the word Gnosticism. I think the word Gnosticism doesn't mean anything. What I mean is the word Gnosticism means too many things. There's too many different Gnosticisms. There's too many groups. Like, I have a really great book on the history of Gnosticism and Christianity, and there's too many versions of it. It's like saying, what's it like? I was going to talk about ice cream, but I can't. I like ice cream metaphors because I can't eat ice cream, so I miss it very much. I can't eat anything that's yummy. It's really sad.
Yeah.
That's why I probably why I enjoy the occasional, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. If you can't eat candy or yummy food for the rest of your life, you may as well enjoy what you can enjoy. Life is about pleasure. Life is about jouissance, the French word for philosophical pleasure that erupts and explodes from ecstatic nature and ecstatic self and unites us with the spiritual pre-category of existence.
Oh man, I felt that.
Hermit's Corner is saying, cheapest copy is $150. Oh, I was going to say maybe I've not read it, but then again you're saying it would have been cheaper back in the 90s. I don't know. Tower of Alchemy. The more I think about it, the more it rings a bell. Definitely in the 90s, between me and my sister, we had every single book on alchemy you could get. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars from the mid-90s to the mid-2000s on my library. Like, literally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building my library up. Which I did by selling my Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh, dude, that's...
I had 9 Black Lotuses. They went for $6,000 each. And I had a ton of other cards. That's how I funded my Magic. I funded Magic with Magic.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome, man.
Isn't that funny? My family to this day probably thinks I was robbing banks or something at 12 years old, 13 years old. But no, man, I had been a hockey and baseball card collector when I was younger, and my dad was a famous comic book collector, as in like multi-million-dollar collection of comics. Like X-Men 1, all the ones from all the way through. He was hardcore comic book collector, very famous in Canada. He destroyed his collection by accident one day. That was too bad. But I learned from him. So when baseball and hockey cards didn't end up making any money and Magic the Gathering came out, I got in on the ground floor, and I had the skill set and the understanding and the foresight to realize what I was in on. And I collected, and I worked my ass off from age 12 to 16. Then from 16 to 19, liquidated all my cards for about close to $100,000.
Whoa, man, that's crazy.
And I did it then because I knew that there was a drop coming. I knew they were going to bottom out.
Yeah.
And they did. They did bottom out for about 10 years. Then they came back with a vengeance. And I knew they'd probably come back, but I also needed the money so I could actually afford to do the Golden Dawn training full time, as well as pay for 7 years of university.
Yeah. What did you study, man?
I did my Master's of Divinity.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah. Then I was working with Nicholas Goodrick Clark on my PhD. He was the one who wrote The Occult Roots of Nazism, The Black Sun, Secret Rituals of the SS, and Savitri Devi, Hitler's Priestess. He also wrote books on Blavatsky and stuff like that. So he was the world's expert on over in England on the spiritual roots of fascist ideology, because he figured if we don't understand where it actually came from, we won't prevent it from happening again.
Yeah.
We can't just think it was one bad dude in a country that lost its mind. It wasn't about that. It was about a spiritual quest for a kind of an distorted enlightenment that tried to come again. I don't know who that is. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, people can get my cell phone number just by Googling my real name. So, some people, well, you shouldn't have your number online. Why is your number available online? It's like, because I'm a professional person, and that's how professional people do business. We call each other and do business. That's how we make arrangements. We don't comment on Facebook to do business. Like, I mean, you can do that. Younger people are doing that, I guess. But most professionals tend to do phone calls. Adults do phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, with this whole, I'm part of the whole millennial generation, and sure I guess I do both, But,
yeah, of course. It's good to learn both. It's good to be capable of doing both. That's the Hermetic way. Like Hermes, go up to the godly realm, go into the underworld, go into the mortal world, just master all of it. When people say, what should I do? Just do it all. We got a minute and 39 seconds remaining because then we reach the hour. I'm going to do another, just go from this, and I'm going to go do another one on my main public page, Esoteric eBooks. So if you want to continue this with me, jump on that and maybe we'll just continue.
Okay, yeah, man. Reach me. Let's talk over DM, so we can arrange the podcast and the themes. That will be really, really cool.
Sounds good, brother. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you. I'm Charles, man. I'm Charles.
I'm Frater RC, and I'll maybe I can I'll have Amazon send you my books in Spanish because I can do that if you're willing to give them a review.
Oh, for sure, man. I will totally review it on the webpage and everything,
Yeah, and if you notice any mistakes or anything, let me know, because I can't read Spanish. Well, I try, and apparently it sounds really bad.
Oh, dude, I'm your man.
You're my man. All right, 34, 33, 32. What's your comment, Tyler, on Thule